Hello everyone, Marlene here. Welcome to my Christmas home tour. I'm starting with the outside of my house. This was done in early December. I took these pictures then and we didn't have any snow. And I just took pictures. This is going to scroll through them. We don't decorate as much outside as we used to when our children and our grandkids were younger. And as we're getting older, it's getting harder to take down all these decorations after Christmas. So we put out what we can just right in front of our house on our porch. And now we're moving inside the house, and the first place I'm going to show you is our living room. I didn't really have a theme this year, but I kind of went with Winter Wonderland. I did buy a couple of cushion covers and a blanket and a few odds and ends at the dollar store, but a lot of the items are either thrifted or crafted by myself. Our tree is mainly decorated in cream, white, gold, and some odd touches of copper or the odd wood piece. I do collect vintage Christmas. There are some items on this tree that are more than 20 years old, and there are a few items that my husband has made, such as some wood-turned ornaments. Now we are moving on to one of my curio cabinets. In here I did empty out quite a few of the items that I have throughout the year, just so I could display my vintage Christmas items. A lot of them I have thrifted in the past year, but some of them I've had prior to this year. In some of my previous videos, I did show where I had attended a vintage and antique vendor market that was put on twice in the area near me, and I did manage to score some really nice vintage and antique Christmas items. So they are displayed throughout my two curio cabinets. On my mantelpiece, the main attraction is this Santa reindeer and his sleigh. This is a piece that my husband purchased for me over 15 years ago, so it's kind of precious. It's made of porcelain. Then, as I stated earlier, I just made it look like a winter wonderland. I put numerous trees and some snowballs all around it. A lot of the trees are either vintage or they are from the dollar store, but there are a few as well that I've crafted in the last couple of years, including a glass tree that I made this year, and then some yarn trees and some trees from Jenga blocks that I made last year. In my second curio cabinet, I left my uranium glass and my custard glass in here because I have nowhere else to store it. I'm afraid it might get broken if I've taken it out of here. Also, I left some of my silver plate interspersed throughout the two cabinets. I really like the look of silver with some of the white items in here. On this side table, I have displayed this old horn. I found it at an antique store this past summer. I also have some of my favorite ornaments hanging here, along with this really old horse or cow bells. And I have a beaded tree here that I made last year using beads and safety pins. On this table we have my homemade creche or stable manger that I made this year. I could not find one for a good price, so I used some dollar store items and I made this one. The nativity figurines are items that I thrifted earlier in the year, and they are a set from Italy. And now we are moving into our dining room. I decorated a few areas in our dining hutch and buffet, and also a cabinet that sits beside it. In my hutch, I have a set of white porcelain dishes and some glassware, and it went very well with some of the red items that I displayed in here. I do have a small collection of red transferware, and then I just added some other touches to bring out the red. This is a shelf that I decorate in my kitchen. I don't add a lot of other red items to my kitchen because all of my small appliances are already red. I just added my Christmas countdown Santa fella and this glass bowl full of some vintage cookie cutters, as well as this dessert covered dish with some glass balls in it. And now we are going to move downstairs to our family room. We always have a second tree down here. The colors down here are more traditional, and I do decorate with more traditional and a vintage theme down here. We got this fireplace last year. It's a second fireplace, and I love it because it gives me another mantle to decorate for Christmas. Our tree has items on it that were collected through the years in our travels, or also were items that had a meaning for our grandsons when they were younger. So the items are more vintage looking, outdoorsy, or like I say, are from our travels through the years. And some of these items are actually vintage, such as these beaded candy canes. And we have the red lights on this tree are about 20 years old. And some wooden pieces are probably considered vintage by now as well. And then we also have some glass ornaments, such as these teardrop hanging decorations. Lots of cute little items on this tree. These little glass balls are also more than 20 years old. And this string of little buttons, cloth buttons, they are vintage as well. And then underneath the tree, I have put some vintage or antique decorations, toys, things that bring back memories from bygone era. And this train that is in front of the tree, my husband purchased this for me many years ago. It is a Costco product. Costco does have some nice decorations through the years. And I have decorated with that train under the tree every year since I got it. Then on the fireplace, this is where we hang our stockings. And this starts out the decoration with a garland that I made, added some lights to it, and then I put some picks into it, such as these elf legs and the floral decorations. And that's a lot of fun. I love having a mantle to decorate. And then this is a cabinet that my husband built to showcase some of his wood turning bowls and plates, etc. that he's made. And I just intersperse a few Christmas items around this area, including some vintage things. These are metal light reflectors from years gone by. I've had this book of Santas for many years now. Glass ornaments, some of which are shiny brights. This indoor light set of the bigger lights. It's vintage, does not have a barcode on it, so they are older. And then this book also, the story of, sorry for the glare, story of teddy bears. They are ceramic teddy bears, and they are vintage as well. There are a few other decorative items sprinkled throughout the room, such as these nutcrackers. This is a scented box of items, cinnamon scent. And then I just have a couple of bows on the stairs. And we've had this large bear with the sled ever since our grandchildren were little. So it's 15 years or more now. And then over on another table between our two couches, I have a few more vintage items, including this little German wooden toy. It's a pull toy for children, and it spins when you pull it. I have a couple more nutcrackers. I have one of these kaleidoscopes. Still works. This is a music box, and I put it out every year. I've had that for many years as well. And then I thrifted these two little decorative items in the back. They are made from leatherette. Well done. One is a snowman and one is a Santa. And they stand on their own. And once again, I'll just pan around the room. And that's our decorations for our downstairs area. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope everybody has a great week.